own Chip Patterson and former Alabama quarterback AJ McCarron here to break it all down. Gentlemen, great to have you. As we just saw there, Ty Simpson's Heisman's push is heating up here, and the Tide are right back in the playoff mix. So AJ, I have to start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on Ty Simpson?
Well, listen, I've been high on him all year long. I mean, even after the Florida State game, I thought a lot of fans and football experts had a high expectation of him and kind of unrealistic going into the first game. My role for him was, hey, don't go into Florida State and lose the game for him. If the rest of the team doesn't play well, that's the team's issue. But I've known Ty since high school. I've trained with him. We go to the same QB guy for years down here in Mobile, and I think the world of him. He's not only a great player, but an even better person, and it's awesome to see him finally get his time to go out and show people what he's capable of doing.
Ty Simpson's got a lot going for him, Katie, in terms of the Heisman discussion, because we are in a season here in 2025 where none of our quarterbacks are really poised to hit some of the same stat thresholds that we are used to seeing with the Heisman Trophy. Like throughout the 2010s, for example, almost every Heisman Trophy winning quarterback was up there with like 45, 46, 48 touchdowns. I mean, Joe Burrow went for daggone more than 60, but we only have one quarterback right now who is at the kind of pace to even touch 40. So that means that we're going to go a little bit more to vibes, a little bit more to how things feel rather than the actual numbers. And look, Ty Simpson's numbers are still very, very good, especially when you're comparing him to only the other players in this 2025 season. But the things like the fact that he is stuck with Alabama through coaching changes, through losing quarterback battles, and still remained committed to the program, I think that is part of the story. The coach's son, who seems to be, by all accounts, and AJ's right there as well, to just be a really great person. I think it's the kind of candidate that if we are just going on feel, you're the star quarterback of a team that's competing for a national title, and you've got all these external soft factors, it makes him a very intriguing Heisman candidate.
Yeah, you got all of the stats there and the performance mixed in with some of that personal story and narrative, and certainly seems like a person of character, which AJ, of course, highlighted, knowing him personally. But fellas, Alabama's passing game has carried the load here, right? The Tide still searching for balance, ranking 14th in the SEC in rushing. Injuries to Jam Miller and just lack of explosive runs have slowed down the ground game. So, Chip, can Bama find that kind of old school punch down the stretch?
They need to if they are going to go on a deep run in the college football playoff. It is one of the more alarming aspects of what is otherwise an awesome team, that you are very excited about the way that they have stacked success week in and week out, because even in some of the most impressive wins, the inability to create that consistent running game is something that's a little bit concerning. And there's two areas where it really stands out. Number one, being able to, with a lead, hold on to that lead by running the football rather than asking Ty Simpson to go out and be an extension of the run game. I think if they could get a little bit more of that traditional downhill attack, it could really benefit them. And it's not as though the offensive line is a weakness, because from a personnel standpoint, certainly up and down that group, you've got a lot of impressive players and a couple future pros. But whether it is Jam Miller, whether it is the rest of that running back room, I think that for Alabama to be able to salt away wins here in crunch time, they need to be able to run the football better. So that's something I'm really keeping an eye on against an LSU team whose guts are going to be checked as they enter this game with an interim head coach.
See, I'm a little different from Chip. I think they've improved the last couple weeks late in the games of 4-minute style offense and being able to put teams away by creating some explosive runs. I think you saw it in the South Carolina game. Jam had some good runs towards the end. And I'm a little different. I think the weak part of their offense is their O-line. Listen, you got Caden Proctor, who's an unbelievable, super athletic guy, has shown that, been able to make plays, catching passes, runs, everything else. And then the heart and soul, the leader of that O-line is Parker Brailsford. At the center spot, but they have done a ton of swapping out on the right side from right guard to right tackle. They have not, come to find a solution right there, and we're over halfway into the season, and I think that's the biggest concern for me. Listen, they have unbelievable backs. I mean, if you're playing running back at the University of Alabama, you are talented. Jam Miller, you got Kevin Riley, you got Daniel Hill. So I think being able to figure out what's going on the right side of the O-line is going to help Bama's offense late into the year.
Well, I know our own Damian Harris is probably pleased to hear you say that yes, you have to be a very good running back to play at Alabama. But as you just mentioned, if there are problems or holes on the O-line, it's hard to get those rushing lanes open. But AJ, when you look at this offense as a whole, we know it's Ty Simpson that's been steady, but the Tide also need someone else to step up and really make a spark here. Who's an impact player that you got your eye on for Bama down the stretch or even just against this game against LSU?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mentioned him just a minute ago. I think one, center Parker Brailsford is a key piece for this offense. He's the heart and soul. He's the leader up front, does all the communicating. But for me, the MVP of the team so far this year is Jeremy Bernard. The dude has done everything they've asked from a passing game standpoint, trick plays, lining them up in the backfield to have some explosive runs, because a lot of their runs that have been explosive have come from him being in the backfield. So I think your MVP of the offense so far, this far into the season has been Jeremy Bernard for sure.
Yeah, AJ, I agree with you. Bernard is a tone setter, and everybody that we've heard from has said that the way that he handles his business on the field, off the field, has really helped be able to get this group together. MVP, without a doubt. It's interesting, though, because I thought about this like an impact player to watch, like a player I am watching. Right? So I'm going to go to somebody else in that room, somebody who should be taking notes from Jeremy Bernard and the way that he handles his business and the way that he carries himself, and that is the uber talented, extremely athletic Ryan Williams. And I'm watching him in this game because Alabama had a little bit of time off, right? I mean, it was just banger after banger after banger, top-tier opponent. And then right at the end of that run, it gets a little tough against South Carolina. But the week before LSU, and AJ can tell you this, obviously, is that reset is to get you ready for some of the biggest games of the entire season. The LSU game, the Iron Bowl, closing things out, SEC championship. So Ryan Williams, who has been mercurial, without a doubt, very up and down throughout the season, where is he at? So is he my MVP for the season? Absolutely not. But is he an impact player that I am watching just to, take his temperature as we get this matchup against LSU? Absolutely.
All right, well, we do have to take a look at the other side here. And, Chip, I'm going to come to you for this one. LSU's offense has looked lost since the departure of Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan. You're the bottom nationally in production, struggling with protection and still searching for an identity. So what does this Tigers offense look like now, and how do they start turning it around?
Man, it was my question. That's what I sent in, Katie, for the show notes. I was like, I don't know what this is going to look like. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier has been so banged up all season long. I know that he is the ultimate warrior and the ultimate competitor. I know that he probably wants to be a part of this game. But as we do have, like you mentioned, Brian Kelly's out, but also the day after they fired Brian Kelly, they fired Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator. So as Frank Wilson has to figure out what the offensive staff looks like, what kind of game planning, play calling, and they're putting everything together, do they entertain a change at quarterback? I don't know. Do you try to use that as a way to generate a spark or maybe catch the Alabama defense off balance a little bit? Are we going to change the way that we call the plays or that we line things up? The issues along the offensive line make it very difficult to see any kind of offensive success against Alabama in this particular game, but maybe there is the element of surprise and the extra week that you had to get everything together. But LSU's competitiveness, not just against Alabama, but in all these games down the rest of the schedule, to me, are going to come down to the choices that they make offensively. And here against Alabama, we'll get to see that. Is there a change at quarterback? My guess is no, but there could be. Is there a change in philosophy? Offensive line stinks, so it might be hard, but all those are things that you've had 2 weeks to entertain. We'll see what they end up trotting out there.
We certainly will. And AJ, when you look at this LSU team trying to reset without Brian Kelly, without Joe Sloan, who's the impact player that you think will help spark this offense and maybe get the Tigers back on track? Not that you want it to happen against the Tide.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's got to be your leader, not only your offense, of your team, Garrett Nussmeier. Listen, like Chip said, he's played banged up, and I don't know how much better it gets unless there's a new portal window that's opened up on the last week, and they've gotten a whole new O-line and a new run game figured out. But that's been their biggest issue all year. And listen, Garrett's still, I would say, a top 5 most talented from an arm standpoint QB in all of college football. I mean, the kid can absolutely sling it, and he throws with anticipation that not many guys do that in the college game. So they have a ton of explosive players on offense. They have a ton of explosive players on defense. If Bama doesn't start well and fast, that could be an issue because – like I said, anytime you give the ball to Garrett Nussmeier, I like LSU's chances.
I'm going to take for my impact player, go to the other side of the ball. Defensively, Mansour Delane has been awesome this year. I think he does a great job in that LSU secondary. And obviously, all of those LSU cornerbacks are going to have their hands full as they've got to deal with Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, the rest of the group. But can he continue to build on what has been an impressive part of that LSU team, the back 7? He's been a star, and he's going to need to be one to give LSU a chance.
All right, real quick here, fellas. Game prediction, LSU at Bama. Chip, you're up first.
Okay, I've got Alabama 31-17. LSU shows a little bit of pride, a little bit of fight, but Alabama does what they do, and they take care of business against the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think it's a close first half of the game. I think LSU comes out with some fight, different wrinkles on offense and defense from different coordinators now, some more juice, but late in the game, Alabama starts to pull away 34-20, Bama.
All right, so very similar predictions there. Tide are going to roll in this one. Big thanks to Chip and AJ. Appreciate your time here. And if you're looking for an all-access pass to everything college football, tune in to the Cover 3 podcast, the ultimate huddle for fans who live and breathe the game. The guys from Cover 3 are going to get you set with all the biggest matchups, betting lines, and playoff debates every single week. Cover 3's got you covered. Scan that QR code now to subscribe to the YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts.